Hello everyone and welcome. I'm Beastly Eel, and in today's video we are doing a DC character spotlight, then none other than Guy Gardner. The reason why I wanted to do Guy Gardner is because he was always a character that I thought was stupid when I was a kid, always was the butt of everyone's jokes, and never really thought much of him. However, two things. One, he's obviously going to be in the latest Superman movie, where he's going to be a full-fledged lantern ready to fight crime and stop villains. But the big thing too is I read a lot about him and I didn't realize he not so much that he was around for so much, but the stuff that he went through was not what I was expecting, and he's been not just a Green Lantern. So we're gonna talk briefly about his upbringing and everything else, and then we're gonna move on to some of the highlights of his comic book history. So Guy Gardner was born in Baltimore, Maryland, to parents Ronald and Peggy Gardner. His father was an abusive alcoholic and frequently beat him, while idolizing his older brother Mace. Mace eventually became a cop. After years of taking beatings and trying to impress his parents, Guy finally gave up. If he could not be as good as his brother, he decided to do the opposite. Guy turned into a juvenile delinquent, frequently getting into trouble and breaking the law, an outlaw and a criminal. He was consistently going in and out of juvie hall. After his 18th birthday, though, his brother finally straightened him out when Guy stole a car rather than let him go to city jail. Mace beat the tar out of him and told him to stop making people ashamed of him. Got some real clothes and a decent job. He loaned Guy some money and told him it was the last time anybody was going to look out for him. Guy started working hard in school again, got a job, and paid his way through college. He took his aggression out playing undergraduate football at University of Michigan. Later, his brother Mace was revealed to be a dirty cop after a drug dealer shot him and left him a paraplegic. Rather than continue living, Mace committed suicide by drowning himself in a river. Guy Gardner went on to graduate in a liberal arts major from college with degrees in both psychology and education. For a time, he worked counseling prisoners before settling into a more permanent job as a gym teacher for children in special education. Eventually, when Guy's father was dying of liver failure, the two would make peace and spend a week together before the old man was passing away. So one of the big things here is everyone knows the story of how Hal Jordan gets his power ring. It's where the alien named Abin Sur crash landed on Earth. He dies, and the ring goes to the next worthy Green Lantern. However, the one thing I did not know was apparently there were two worthy lanterns on Earth. One was Hal Jordan, and the other one was Guy Gardner. The difference here is Hal Jordan apparently was closer to the graphite, which allowed him to be the Green Lantern over Guy Gardner, which I find that to be just interesting in and of itself. So I just thought that was oddly specific in that sense. Hal Jordan found that out and became friends with Guy Gardner, kept it a secret in the sense of his secret as Green Lantern, but also the idea that Guy could also be a worthy contender for a Green Lantern ring. However, he was put out of he was put out of commission when he was hit by a bus. And they decided that during that time when Hal Jordan was needing a backup, it was John Stewart who took on the mantle. And he went on several missions while, Gardner was in the hospital and everything else. So the other thing too is, so there's been a possible future. Apparently, both Hal Jordan and Booster Gold had been shown visions of the path history would have taken if Guy had indeed been chosen as the first Green Lantern, and as he so often wished, inevitably he would have died of a yellow plague while on a mission to a planet of Giara, I think is how you say it. And the Guardians have revealed to Hal that even if he had been chosen second, Jordan would still be the Green Lantern of Earth fairly quickly. However, this was later elaborated upon as Guy is an instrumental figure in the War of Light. His early death caused a butterfly effect, condemning most of the universe. The Sinestro Corps would have won the Sinestro Corps War and had gone on to conquer every planet they see, leading to the world where Sinestro rules all. This was averted by Booster Gold in one of his time-traveling missions. So on Crisis on Infinite Earth, Guy wakes up from his coma with possible brain damage, wishes to take back the power ring and the title that he so rightfully thought he had earned. And at this time, Hal Jordan had retired, and John Stewart was already the active Green Lantern on Earth. Gardner and Jordan fought over Abin Sur's grave in a dramatic confrontation, as Guy believed Hal was deliberately responsible for his problems. Although the Guardians of the Universe required an additional Green Lantern for the time of crisis, Hal was invalid for the job as he had quit, and Guy Gardner finally got what he wanted, and he was a Green Lantern for the first time. For the first time in history, the Guardians were divided. Half of them believed they should act to preserve life, while the others argued that the crisis was inevitable and time should not be wasted fighting it. Matters further complicated when a third of them were killed by the Anti-Monitor. Guy was given a mission by one faction of the Guardians to destroy the moon of Quark, where the Anti-Monitor had been born. To this, he had assembled a strike team of supervillains to invade the antimatter universe. Hal Jordan was eventually I'm sorry, deputized to aid him. I apologize. Guy picked up the Shark, Sonar, Goldface, Throttle, Blindside, and Hector Hammond. And after Gardner had already gone through, the other Guardians discovered that destroying the moon would undo the Anti-Monitor's tether to the mortal universe and make him much more powerful. Although acting on orders, Guy had to be stopped at all costs. All lanterns available were sent to the Anti-Monitor universe. And there, the battle for the fate of the universe between the Green Lantern Corps, Guy and his villains, and the deadly weaponers of Quark. Finally, before he could destroy it, John Stewart put Guy down with his ring, and the universe was saved from destruction for a second time in that one day. Hal Jordan also reinstated into his official capacity at this time. During all of this, apparently Gardner had went missing for a little bit, still bearing a grudge against Hal and believing himself to be meant as the last true Green Lantern. He teamed up with Star Sapphire and Hector Hammond. Although defeated, disgraced, and wanted dead at this point by nearly half the galaxy for his actions during the crisis, they still saw potential in Gardner and kept him on as a Lantern. So in this, we see him do many things over the course of himself. He's declared himself the leader of the Green Lantern Corps of Earth, and did battle with the 7 other Lanterns stationed there for supremacy, which was Hal Jordan, John Stewart, Kilowog, Katamitu, Arisma, Salak, and Chip. And because of that, he was able to gain that ability. He was also part of the Justice League International. He had a difficult time in that. At one point, he actually had to fight Lobo in the sucker punching of Blue Beetle during a boxing match. Finally, having him quit the team after being belittled by Superman. He tried to make a new Justice League. He became a founding member of the new Justice League along with Batman, Martian Manhunter, Dr. Fate, Captain Marvel, Blue Beetle, Mr. Miracle, Black Canary, and Dr. Light. Although he kept trying to become the leader of the group, Batman stopped him at every chance he could, and to the point where he eventually got kicked out. So during this time, we also find out that Guy Gardner was able to gain the powers of the Yellow Lantern. So after Hal Jordan returned to Earth from a lengthy stay in outer space, he attempted to persuade Guy to allow him to take his sector back. An overconfident Guy refused to listen to reason and instead insisted that he make the decision in a single no-holds-barred fight in the streets of New York without their rings. Gardner lost to Jordan in a punch-out and was forced to give up his ring and quit the Corps. He would go out and search for a new weapon, which happens to be none other than the Yellow Power Ring, which I just find to be interesting in and of itself. He gets like I said, he gets the Yellow Power Ring and tries to fight his way through to make himself better. He tries to start a whole new chapter in his life and clean up the city of New York and quickly becomes recognized as one of the most dangerous heroes, mostly because of all the collateral damage that he causes as well. He's gone toe-to-toe against the Green Lantern Corps, the Dark Star, Legion, He was also he had possession of the yellow power ring during Doomsday's first when Doomsday first appeared during the death of Superman. Um, and that did not go well for him. He also was found out to be a part of a race of beings which called themselves the Warrior, which allowed him to have many different powers. Um, Vol- Voltigarian, I think is what it's called. It's apparently a space traveling race called the Voltigarians. And he was struggling with his newfound powers. He had a difficult time changing his body to any kind of weapon, and these transformations sometimes caused him pain. And after a breakdown that led to a confrontation with Superman and Supergirl, and with some soul searching from help from his ancestor, Gardner finally came into his own and was able to use his new power and was able to form just about any tactical non-energy based weapon from his body, from guns to bombs, as well as absorb some forms of energy and redirect them through various weapons that he was able to create from his body. One of the other things too is he also got rebirth and was brought back to life and was part of the Green Lantern Corps once again, thanks to Hal Jordan. At one point, during Infinite Crisis, he has to help fight against Superboy Prime, which was his own issues. Let's be honest, it did not go well. But I think the biggest piece that I want to talk about was Hal Jordan. Guy Gardner was for a short time, he was sent to work with the Corps. Now, apparently, the Corps, which I never knew about, was the top secret Black Ops division of the Green Lanterns, unknown to the general public. It was run by Dolan, named Von Daigle. It was kept so quiet that in all of his years as a lantern, Guy had never heard of it before. And they attempted to prevent the Dominators from wielding one of the universe's greatest weapons. This division, however, has no official ties to the Corps, and they receive no backup or help, work completely undercover, and have no ethical standards in their practices, and die alone if they were caught. Daggle attempted to stop one of the Dominion who had gained godlike powers through super science. Guy was supposed to assassinate a telepath, but had difficult reconciling himself. Basically, he had a difficult time dealing with the fact that he had to murder somebody. And the Beast took advantage of this and nearly killed him. He would be nursed back to health by the spiritual powers of one of his comrades, who who appeared to be in love with him. And then eventually he returns to his regular duties with no memories of the things that he had seen or done, because part of it was to wipe his memory from the incident, which I think to be very interesting. Then we have the War of Light, which is always fun in and of itself. He apparently also had love interest of Ice, who had died at one point, and she was resurrected after years of being deceased during an affair between the Birds of Prey and the Secret Six. The two lovers met once again in Times Square and shared a single long passionate kiss. He was ready to and willing to resume the relationship. However, Ice needed more time, which is understandable because she'd been dead for a bit, and time had gone on for a while. We also find out too that during the Blackest Night storyline, Guy Gardner has to be the most powerful Green Lantern. Well, I shouldn't say the most powerful, that's not the right thing I want to say. But one of the things is a lot of the Green Lanterns had died, so he's trying to hold the mantle down, and he's supposed to be the new leader of them. However, because of things happening, his best friend dies, gets blown up, and what happens is, because he gets enraged by all the senseless horrors, he's actually inducted into the Red Lantern Corps, and equipped with the Red Lantern power ring. So because of that, Star Sapphire helped bring back the life of his friend Kyle, who would be resurrected by the Violet Light. And so they all helped try to stop the Blackest Night from happening. After the events of Blackest Night, Guy Gardner is slated to star in a third Green Lantern monthly series entitled The Emerald Wars. Regular guest appearances by Kilowog and other Green Lanterns as well. We see him go through what he needs to go through. We also have a war between the Green Lanterns, which I thought was interesting as well. It gets to the point where they can't use the green ones anymore, just because they're having a huge fight, and everyone having green ones. They're trying to make it so it's. I guess the best way to phrase it is they're trying to keep it so it all works out together. However, Guy and Hal are attacked by the Guardians, who have been possessed by the other six emotional entities. Despite Guy's attempt to fight back using Korna's gauntlet, he and Hal were defeated and brought to Krona, sorry, who intends to use bandages similar to his own to evolve the two into new Guardians. The destruction of Mogo creates enough of a distraction for Guy and Hal to escape, bringing Gamther with them. The three rebellious, I'm sorry, the three rendezvous with Kyle and John at the central power battery. Guy dons on the silver star sapphire ring, while Hal wears the freeze ring, and the combined might of the emotional spectrum shatters the shell of the central power battery, releasing parallax, and their mission was accomplished. Guy and Kyle use their blue ring to cleanse him of his red lantern energy, and they all don their green rings in preparation for their final confrontation with Rona. And that, my friends, is the biggest part of Guy Gardner's history. He has a sheer, he put it this way, there's a reason why he's a good Green Lantern is because he has incredible willpower. Granted, he's got his own emotional issues for sure, but he is one of those guys who, because of that, is what makes him a good Green Lantern. Guy also avoids wanting to kill people overall. He'd rather beat them up instead, which is always funny to me. So one of the big things is let's talk about his powers in general. Being partially alien, he had once access to a host of unique capabilities like transformation, metamorphosis, organic constructs creation, size alteration, superhuman strength, superhuman speed, superhuman agility, reflexes, stamina, invulnerability, energy absorption, energy projection, adaptation, self-subsistence, which means he can travel through harsh environments, flight, and regeneration. And these powers seem to have receded recently as he returned to use his ring for various purposes. So, he's an indomitable will. He's a Green Lantern ring master. He's great with weaponry, firearms, and expert combatant. And then his power and stability. Gardner's Voldernier's powers come with time limit to how long you can use them. So spending hours at a time in his hybrid form weakens his stamina the more he uses it, requiring a 24-hour rest period before he's able to transform once again. One of the big things is his equipment is obviously his Green Lantern power battery and his ring, along with all the constructs that he's able to create with it. He's formerly had a Quadrian power ring. He's had a Red Lantern ring and a Star Sapphire ring as well. So overall, one of the big things for me was not realizing how much Guy Gardner was doing and like actually doing work. Also, the fact that I didn't realize he wasn't just a Green Lantern. At one point, he had the yellow power ring, he had the Starfire ring, and he had the red power ring, which I just find to be interesting in and of itself. So I'm just surprised about that, and I give him a lot of credit than I ever would have. So he's definitely a much more interesting character than I was expecting him to be. I thought he was kind of a one-note guy, and although some of his things are one-note, he's been around since 1968, and we're finally going to get to see him live action in Superman. So let me know what you guys thought about this character down in the comments below. Also, are you excited for Superman? And also, if there, excuse me, if there's a character you'd like me to do a character spotlight on, please make sure to let me know in the comments down below. Other than that, this is going to be Beastly Eels. Oh, and as always, if you like the content you see, please make sure to like and subscribe down below. Other than that, this is going to be Beastly Eels signing out. Have a wonderful night. Bye-bye.